Surprise! I only have a little bit of time tonight because I have to go home. Doesn't look like I have eyelashes now. So dark. I'll stay right here. Oh my God, it's better. Hi, Maribel. How are you? I have about an hour, give or take. Hi, Mia. How are you? Hey, Victoria. Was today a day? I didn't even get to watch all of it. So you guys are going to have to keep me updated. Hi, Creative. And Armand. Fast people. I was just thinking of you, woman. I was actually going to email you to check and see how you're doing today. I had to leave and work. I had to go work. So when they broke and I knew it was Mary Hall, no offense to Mary Hall, but I can't take it. So it was already like sitting there with a lot of the same information that we've heard. If you've watched the Donna Adelson and you watched Charlie Adelson and watched Katie Magbanua, a lot of it was the same money amount. There were a couple tidbits that they pointed out that were a little different. Like, of course, Wendy had enough money to buy the house on Whittendale. Why would she not have enough money to buy the house on Whittendale when she took $400,000 in assets? We talked about this yesterday. Of course, she had enough money to buy the house. So people cancel real estate for a lot of things, but they may blame it on money. It's not always money. And she proved it today. And then, of course, Katie Magbanua came on. She sounded completely different. I was listening to that woman, convict, testify through my vehicle, and her voice sounded completely different than it has the other three trials she testified, even against herself. And then Chris Corbett, which is really the most interesting part for me, because chasing those phones, I would love a job like that. That would be fabulous. So anyway, that's what I did. I had to, there's a loan that they would like to close on Friday, and I'm the appraiser. So I had to go back out and look at the repairs that were completed and make sure that they were sufficient, and then send the appraisal back through so that they can close on Friday. So sometimes you just got to do your job. And that's what I did. I did my job. So I have the lights off because my eyes are tired. So let me just say hi. Hi, Neely. How are you? So you guys all watching the trial fresh? Are you watching it live on your preferred channel? Court TV, Law and Crime, Tallahassee Democrat. You guys watching it? Hey, Chris. Missing you. Great to be here and awesome to see you. Thank you, Chris. And then tonight I went to an event there's an organization called the Tallahassee Quarterbacks Club, and many football towns have this organization where they award the high school players with a player of the week, right? A position of the week, the quarterback, the number of tackles, blah, blah, blah. And Coach Norvell was speaking tonight. So I went to that, had dinner with friends at the event down at Doak Campbell Stadium, and then came here. I had to finish up another task for work. And so tomorrow morning, I won't be at the courthouse until after my radio show. So I have a radio show that we record on Wednesdays, and it airs on Saturday and Sunday. Same show, just airs twice. And so I have to do that. And that's my favorite day. It's already my favorite day of the week. So I'll be mid-morning at the courthouse, likely. Unless somebody else wants to buy a house, then I won't be there. So hi, my dog named Bo. Our quarterback club used to be on Mondays. Well, ours is on Tuesdays. And Norvell spoke very briefly, which I was very appreciative of. I don't have time for that. Like, I don't. I had to go. So he was done at 7:30. I rode the elevator down with him, and I was like, I'm going to the office. Peace out. You know, the beautiful thing were his shoes. Well, we could talk about June Umchinda's shoes because they were fabulous. Her shoes were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I don't even know if I can find a picture of her walking, but God, her legs are like pegs, right? She's got that really sleek body, very petite Asian look body, but she looked good. I know not everyone agrees with me, but she did. Some people don't like her. She's too airy for them. She's still, here's me. Oh, they didn't show her shoes. Fudge. They didn't show her shoes. They only showed her from the knee up. But she's old enough to be my child, or so I take it a little differently than some might. And she was in love with Charlie no matter what. And she looked beautiful. That's all I got to say. And she even testified a little differently. People were like, well, she smiled at Donna and Harvey. She smiles at everybody. Have you seen the teeth? Like, she just smiles. She's not walking around with straight bitch face like I do. She is literally smiling at everyone she sees. So she smiled at us. She smiles at everyone. Can't get her there. So I'm not going to put her down. If you want that, you're in the wrong place, because I have other people I can put down. She ain't it. My dog named Bo. Hey, Patty's Playhouse. Can I ask you a question? What is the significance of Wendy throwing up at the dinner? She knew about the murder, so what made her so sick? I really feel stupid asking. We don't know. So a lot of people, I think Mia had a great theory about it. Could have been that they got a speeding ticket. It could have been that they stopped at the ATM. It could have been the owl situation, one owl versus another. Like, he posted now on Instagram and she wore an owl shirt and that got caught. It could be so many coincidences that we just really don't know yet. And I don't think we will know until her trial. I just don't think so. But I believe she threw up because something was found. They threw away the gun. Jeffrey LaCasse didn't leave when he thought he was going to leave. Whatever it was something Charlie knew that Wendy did not know, right? So I'm not quite sure what it was, but it had to be a coincidence of some sort that she found out that she didn't know before, and so it made her throw up. What we learned today when Jeffrey LaCasse was on the stand, which I was in the courtroom for, was there were 2 times. The first time that they were trying to kill Dan Markel and had run that dry trip up to Tallahassee, which is where I am. My name's, should introduce myself. I'm Patty Wilson. I'm a real estate broker. I live here in Tallahassee, and I followed the Adelson case since the man was shot. And Jeffrey LaCasse mentioned today, I don't recall him saying it prior to today, that the first run of the assassination of Dan Markel, he was also, the trip was canceled, the trip to California, whatever it was, and she was very, very sick, and he had to go out and get her stomach medication. So she was obviously very nervous about killing somebody, but she did it anyway. She could have canceled it at any time, and she didn't. She didn't cancel it. She let it happen. And the killer to me was when literally, pun intended, when Jeffrey LaCasse said she started taking the artwork off the walls. And I was like, oh, she knew she was moving. She knew. Why would you do that? And we heard enough about that memory question to know she was interrogating him about how much her children would remember of their father. My mom's dad died when she was 4, and it was a traumatic death. A piece of machinery fell on his head while they were building in basically on the University of Louisville campus in Louisville, Kentucky. And he lived for about 12 hours, but she remembered almost nothing from that, or him before. So it is, a traumatic death. I don't know how much you remember, but then you have Allison Galvani from My Father's Alibi, who remembers so much about her mother and what happened before her death and what happened after. So I think it's just dependent on the child. And thank you for checking on me, Mia. That's very sweet. But sometimes I just have to work. So, hey, Justice Jane. I learned that there's what's her name? Something Debbie that's in the courtroom. Some dude named Debbie, something like that. Some lady named Misdemeanor. I thought it was a guy. Sorry. I thought that was a guy. Misdemeanor. So there's other people in the courtroom that have YouTubes. I've just never heard of them. So I apologize for not knowing them, but I don't. So people ask me, did you see this person? I literally have no idea who you're talking about. Hey, Raven. Catching Alive. Sandra Key, how are you? The sky is falling. Oh, thank you. It's the same hair as today. See, same hair. And same earrings as today, but I did go home and change my blouse. I had a sweater on today in the courtroom, which was freezing. My hands were blanched. They were so cold. So I had to go home and put a blouse on, like a long sleeve. It's kind of berry colored, kind of garnet. It's all I have. I don't have any garnet gold clothing for an event that happens to be about FSU. So I went home and changed, saw my husband for a little bit, pet my dog, and then I had to run and go to work. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing? Hey, Chris. Chris says, hey there, Patty. Missing you. Great to be here and awesome to see you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I need to finish to listen. Chris Corbett. I do too. I'm going to listen when I go home. I am. I'm going to watch it and listen. Hi, John. How are you? What did you think? I didn't hear enough of Katie's testimony because I was driving. So I would have to go back and look at it, unless you can tell me what they are, Indy Nana. Oh, thank you, Victoria Life Coach. Oh, this coming from a life coach is like super, super complimentary. Thank you for your excellent podcast. That is really nice because I literally wing it. I literally wing it every night. Don't have a plan. Sometimes I have a plan, but then it changes. Does anyone know who's on the witness stand for tomorrow? Chris Corbett. I think it'll be a while. Chris Corbett, who's Sergeant Chris Corbett. He handles the phone communications. He handled the phone communications for our dear Lori Page, who was missing and then murdered by her father. He handled it for Andrew Wiley, her father. So he's just the expert, and I think he teaches it throughout the state to other law enforcement. Like, he is the expert. You knew she was lying about not having money. I mean, it's so terrible. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. For her to say she had no money, her cars were paid for, her parents paid for literally everything the woman did. They're up in, like, Jeffrey LaCasse is like, they're watching her kids, and I mean Donna and Harvey, are up there all the time in that house on Cameron Chase because they're paying for it. She paid for nothing. She paid for nothing. And she still does it. Who is paying for John Laurel? Someone's paying for it, and it ain't her. She don't pay for shit. I go back to what Harvey's watching, Harvey Adelson and all these women and men coming up and shaking their hand. The only people who shook Harvey Adelson's hand is people he paid. That's it. People he paid. It was a big day today. And I watch other comments. I was listening to Carl Steinbeck today, and I was listening to the commentary, like he's reading comments. And then I went on X and watched or read some of those comments while I was sitting at this event, because I'm not an FSU fan. I just go participate. That's my thing. And X was like, I don't see how this ties to Donna. Oh, you're new. Like, if you're new to the Donna Adelson trial, it makes sense that you don't know how this is done, or you don't know how the judge is running the courtroom, or you don't know how the prosecution's running the case. So let me give you a brief, try to be very short and to the point. Every trial has led to another arrest. If you don't see the tie-in from Donna being the money, writing checks to Katie Magbanua when the woman never worked there, and those checks ceased right after the bump. The car comes from Harvey. The lease for Cameron Chase, which is the neighborhood that Wendy moved to in preparation for leaving him, came from Donna. Like, she thought she could just pay for everything and nobody would be the wiser. But that's not how it works. She paid for everything. She's on the phone with Charlie at a rest stop headed to Gainesville. Charlie's informing his mother that, good news, Wendy's no longer buying the Whittendale. It's Whittendale Drive, Whittondale. She's no longer buying the Whittendale Drive house. Good news, smiley face, smiley face. There's no gift because we learned from Robert there was no surprise party. Like, all of those things really are little tidbits from one trial to the next. But she will wrap it up in the closing. Everything will be led through in the closing. And right now, Chris Corbett, Sergeant Chris Corbett from Tallahassee Police Department, is the ultimate leading those breadcrumbs around and around and around so that Wendy is nailed because she's lying. What my friend Rebecca said, there were 7 speed bumps, or someone else, maybe it was another YouTuber, told me they drove that path and it was 7 speed bumps. You're not doing 7 speed bumps going down Truscott from the time you leave Centerville Road to the house on Truscott. I think it's 2116. It's a mile. And there's 7 speed bumps. 7 large, like, big humps. You can't, I hate it so much. And then there's a roadblock. And then that heifer says, there's a roadblock. Were you concerned? I wasn't concerned about the roadblock. It wasn't a roadblock, lady. It was do not cross crime scene tape. Do not cross crime scene. And you weren't concerned. And then you fake it through the ISOM interrogation at the police station. And then you lied about that. You said you learned in the car that he was shot, which is an absolute lie. It's just 100% a lie. And then you start turning on the boo-hoo in front of Craig Isom, and you bring Jane in there and you're completely sobered up, and then you go back to the boo-hoo again, and you're lying. You're lying. You're lying. And everyone knows you're lying. The only person I think that really doesn't believe we all know we're lying, that she's lying, is her. She thinks she's winning. She is not winning. So all of these repeated witnesses are just little breadcrumbs on the path to Donna. Charlie leads to Donna. Catherine Magbanua leads to Donna. How do you know that you just spent 1 hour on the beach with Katie? How do you know that? 1 hour. Nobody believes that. When people lie, and you hear about it on all of these true crime cases, when people lie, they get very specific for no freaking reason. Stop. If you're going to lie, stop, because you can't remember it. She won't remember in the next trial that it was 1 hour at the beach. She's literally saying 2 weeks after her divorce, she went to and had her name taken off the deed. Well, I can prove that's a lie, like a bold-faced lie. 1031. Do you remember 1031? No, I don't remember 1031. Tab 5. Everything she's ever said has come back to haunt her. Everything. All the hand-holding in the world with that bodyguard, Honeycutt, is not going to stop the train that is going to roll over Wendy Adelson's bad hair. It is done. She is done. Is she going to be arrested? Yes, she is going to be arrested. They would not be going all through this and the little breadcrumbs and not arrest Wendy at this point. That's how they did it with Donna. Some of you, I thought, smartly said they were probably likely to arrest Wendy after Charlie's, but Donna was going to flee, so then they arrested Donna, because if you hear George Kappelman, the lead state prosecutor, says, we arrested her before we wanted to. They wanted to wait a little bit. Were they going to go after Wendy then? Hard to say. But the people are like, there's not enough on Donna. You aren't watching that jury. You're not watching that jury. They're like this. They don't move. One guy yawns a little bit. That's it. We don't got any crazy jurors that I can tell. And it's done. They are like watching ping pong. Boom, 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 boom. They are paying attention. A couple are taking notes and they get it. They're not sitting there going, I don't understand what you're talking about. Not at all. They get what is happening. Those crime scene tapes came up, or those photos, Jeffrey LaCasse's head mangled with 2 bullets. They got it. They got that. They saw Donna. They saw her stare her son down yesterday. They watched that. So there is plenty of evidence, unless you're brand new to the Donna Adelson trial. It's like me coming into the Karen Reed halfway through. I just didn't bother because there's too much little stuff that you're not going to be able to get. You're just not. You have to go through the beginning. You're probably better off starting watching Charlie's trial, which was, a couple years after Katie, and watching that one, and then you'll understand how Donna's lead-in is taking place, and then you're going to understand what Wendy's doing. Also, Jackie St. Germain, she's a fellow YouTuber. She did a great short that showed Wendy's testimony before and now, and how different it is. It's not the same. You know why it's not the same? Because she forgets her lies. And I don't know who's paying all that money to John Laurel, but they really should consider it because she is not prepped. I only read my transcript. What? What do you mean you only read your transcript? That doesn't make any sense. You knew full well and good you wore the same damn dress twice. Stop it. Stop the lies. But the details are so minute, she can't recall them because it didn't happen that way. Liars can't remember their lies. That's why I try not to lie. And all these people are telling the truth. It's so much. And who's telling the truth? Who is telling the truth? Jeffrey LaCasse is telling the truth. He didn't hem-haw around about it, did he? He was extremely confident. Extremely confident. Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was a different person on the stand. He was extremely confident. And the challenge is the defense isn't even trying. You think you can't discredit a Ryan Fitzpatrick who's been in and out of jail for DUIs or beating somebody up or whatever he's done this week? They didn't even try to discredit him. Jackie Fulford, you don't know me, do you? We just talked on the phone the other day. We just had a deposition. I only have a couple questions to ask you. Did I get it right? Because that's her lead-in for everybody. Are you kidding me? You can't discredit him as a thug or him getting into it with Charlie or any revenge fest. You can't get into that at all. He didn't really know Donna, so you can't discredit him. June, sweet girl. I call these people like that a flibberty gibbet. Like they're just a little airy-fairy, right? A little airy. You couldn't have twisted her words against her and get her caught off guard to make her mistake what she said. You didn't even try. They're not even trying. They're not even trying. Before Mary Hall, we had to go to break for lunch today at 11:15 because they had to ask Mary Hall a question. Why do you have to ask Mary Hall a question? Why? What? How unprepared? Is that the strategy? Another rash bomb? We're just not prepared, so we'll hope we'll win an appeal? Is that why she already hired an appellate attorney? Hard to say. You're not familiar with Mary. Mary Hall is a forensic accountant, and she's very good. And she was on this afternoon after this lunch. Katie looked pretty today. Her hair looked better than Wendy. I thought I said that too. She got that jail braid going. Prison life agrees with Katie, though. She did look good. And she sounded more confident in what she was saying. She wasn't like, oh no, I don't really remember. Woohoo. Been spamming my YouTube looking for you. Oh, bless your heart. Thank you. Thank you for going live. Thank you for being here, Dennis. She's like, I think you're my original admin. You were watching it with Roberta. Good. I saw you, Ashley. Ashley was in Roberta's chat. Catching, you watched it live too. Hey, Marion, how are you? You watch on STS? Good for you. Victoria watched it live. Penny Packer, I saw you in Roberta's chat. I've been trying to watch it live and it works. So I end up missing some of it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you have to concentrate on two things, right? You are on Carl. I turned over to Carl today just because I was trying to like learn how he was doing it. And I do like the sound of his voice. And I had a nice chat with John today. John Steinbeck, his brother. He is just, someone called him a great mensch. He really is. Everybody he speaks with, John Steinbeck, Carl's brother, he is so kind. He is just absolutely, to watch it is a lesson in gentlemanliness. How he was with people at the deli where we've been going to lunch. How he is with people on the side of the street. How he says goodbye to people. He's just such a gentleman. Just a pleasure. You watch Roberta and Carl. Good for you, Ashley. You watch between work. Yeah, I am too. I gotta work. You love Professor Joe on STS. I do too. She takes no prisoners, and I'm just a big fan of that. She takes no prisoners. Hey Sue, how are you? You get to watch live too. Good for you. Watching on Jackie St. Germain from 9 to 5. Hopefully, Victoria Life Coach, you saw her little video of Wendy before and Wendy now and the differences. It was really well done. Hopefully I answered your question about Wendy throwing up, because we really don't know. We really don't know what happened. We just know she was under tremendous pressure, and whatever she said, whatever was said to her, made her puke. Is Charlie on tomorrow? We don't know. And it's Chris Corbett's going to be on for a while. Hi, Little Biddle. Super cute. Does anybody know anything about that Jew in Boots? That little book from, I guess, from the 40s or 50s, the Jew in Boots, where gibbers would have come. I'm not. Some questions I'm just going to skip over because I don't want to answer them. And I've explained why, okay? How is Chris, my husband, doing with what do I call it? Meloxicam. Meloxicam is the anti-inflammatory my husband's taking. He was recently diagnosed with lupus and dementia. They think the the lupus contributes to the dementia. So he started on Meloxicam, and he said that his pain is down like 50, 60%. And I do a score, like, because I'm a nurse. So I go from 0 to 10, 10 being the worst pain in your life, 0 being no pain at all. And I asked him last week, and he said, Patty, it's a 7. It's okay. And then I asked him yesterday, and he said it was a 3. So 3 is manageable. So it should get better from here. June always looks beautiful. She really did. I mean, the girl can dress. She knows how to dress her figure. Hey, True Crime Wifey, how are you? How are you doing? I did not know why she was late. I mean, we're in the courtroom, which is basically a sealed tomb when you think about it. We can't hear anything going on outside the courtroom. They can't hear anything really going on inside the courtroom. There are other court cases going on. When you walk in from the parking garage level, there's a big screen talking about all the court cases going on that day. We don't know. They don't tell us why people are late. She looks good. She's just a ditz. And why was she late? We don't know. They didn't tell us. June's red dress stole the show, heading to Macy's as soon as possible. Well, at least you have a Macy's, Victoria. Ours closed. She is stunning. That hair. When you see like Wendy with all that money, like Wendy has money. She's living with money. Someone's paying her rent again, and I think all she has to do is give him a blowjob or whatever it is. Her part is shit. Her hair is shit. Her dress looks like shit on her. Shoes, shit. And then you have June. No money, really. I mean, she's a realtor unless she's sleeping with it. And girl dresses fabulously for her figure. Hey, Razzle Dazzle, how are you? She did dodge a bullet. She should be grateful, but I'm sure she isn't. Laughing at her expense is tacky. Yeah, I mean, I understand people, and you're in a group, and you kind of get group thing. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not doing it. So don't expect it because it's not happening here. I don't think she's pretty with her big teeth, but she has a great body and beautiful hair. Oh, I think her teeth are gorgeous. I love big teeth. I have big teeth. And yes, I could get in. Some ass Jack said, why don't you get Invisalign? Because I'm not spending the money to do YouTube. Spending the money. My teeth are my teeth. Oh, Jerry, you are the kind of Jesus. Patty sets the style in the courtroom. No, there's some nicely dressed women in that courtroom. Really is. I'm just jeans and a sweater, but thank you. Oh. Clarissa. Oh, I forgot about her. Clarissa was on the stand. Yeah, she was smiling. And she was just there. If you're new to the Donna Adelson trial, Clarissa worked for them for 40 years. And she was smiling at Donna and Harvey. She talks about how she only had a good experience with Donna and Harvey and working at the Adelson Institute. However, she was there to say that Katie never worked there. So she was one of those filler witnesses to just verify prior to the next witness coming on. And that's how it goes. She loved his money. I think she loved him. I mean, she's a small, beautiful Asian woman in South Florida. She can get a guy. It's not money. She can get a guy. Are they going to be able to impeach Wendy on their pathetic lies? They're doing it systematically. They're already impeaching Wendy systematically. Wendy impeached herself systematically. Tab 5, tab 34, tab 98. Well, there is no tab 98. Go to the way back. No, go way back, way back. Way back there, that's where your tab 98 is. She's impeached with every single witness, which is exactly what happened when Katie Magbanua was on. It was all about Charlie. When Charlie was on, it was all about Donna. Donna's on, now it's all about Wendy. It's constantly impeaching her. What is this? The photo of the Cameron Chase house with all the kids' artwork on the wall? Yes. When did she start? Like, you implied something about the artwork. Oh, she started removing it on such and such a date. Everything about when she showed that original picture to Wendy, I thought, there's something to that, right? There's just a photo, the boys are blurred out, and there's artwork on the wall. And I'm like, why is that important? Is this kind of how your house looked on this and this day? Yes. She brings up Jeffrey LaCasse. Art started coming down. Now, if you have little kids, I've had little kids. I still have my little kids' artwork. You start taking the artwork off the wall, you're moving. Like you're leaving. Or you're having it painted, and she didn't do it. It was a rental. Every witness is there to impeach Wendy. Mary Hall was there to impeach Wendy. Did she have enough money to buy the Whittendale house? Oh yeah. She said, oh yeah. She just chose not to buy it because she was having her ex-husband murdered. Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you? The vomit story, but we don't know everything yet, right? We don't know everything. We may not know unless Charlie says, hey, I told her blank. But there's so much more to this murder than one vomit story. When Jeffrey LaCasse came in and said why her stomach was so upset, I offered to go to the store and get her medication and blah, blah, blah. And now we know that was the dry run. That was the dry run. Supposedly, June's family has money. I think they have a restaurant. I think they have a restaurant down there in South Florida. I think Georgia has something concrete because she brings up the vomit thing every trial. Really can't wait to know. Yeah, it's coming up. You know, someone mentioned Jeffrey LaCasse's car. The last trial, they mentioned this car was similar, but she held it back until this trial, and she showed the photos of the two very similar models. Everything is methodical. It may not be in our time. It's Georgia time, right? So Georgia's running the show, and Georgia chooses when to release that car information. It's very methodical. Tab 5. Do I think the defense will call Charlie? Not now. Not now. Not after Robert. They'd be foolish. They'd be foolish. Not after Robert. Not after Robert. Not after Jeffrey LaCasse. Not after Katie Magbanua. Not after. I mean, what is he going to say? It's a double extortion? No, it's not happening. Oh, the only thing you get on the stand and say, my mother knew nothing about it. Okay. But then you have text messages, you have check writing, you have all this other data, true data, phone calls, texts, messages, Harvey's photos on the freaking screen today. All of that. There's you putting Charlie on. She's buried anyway, and she knows it. You can see it on the look on her face. She is losing internal control of herself. She has that. The only way I could describe it for me was knowing my mother was dying alone. And I was up here and she was in Leesburg, Florida in a nursing home. And the pure desperation I felt about how do I get there as quickly as possible to be, so my mother's not alone, even though she had COVID and she was going to die alone. How can I do that? What is that feeling, like pure desperation? Or if you've ever had a kid missing, right, in a store, that's about other people though. Donna only thinks about Donna. You could see that when she looked at Robert. She is losing internal control. The look on her face today, she is losing. And I mean, there is the only person, I'll go back to my first trial, and I've watched it a ton of times, Ted Bundy. When Ted Bundy lost it, that is Donna Adelson right now. She is going to lose her shit before this trial is over. A little more chatter that Wendy is next. Exactly. And the bullet bourbon. Now, all of a sudden, again, more detail. The invitation was shaped like a bourbon bottle? Or just a bar? Like, come on. All too much detail. It's far too much. The woman, Donna's running the books at the Adelson Institute, lying about the books. And she can't send an Evite? Come on. You think that when she knew for sure that her mom and Charlie had something to do with it? No, she had something to do with it. You have to start with Wendy. Wendy, they all do it at the same time, or Wendy manipulated her mother and the mother manipulated Charlie. You think the simplest answer is sometimes the best. Justice for All says, I think she wrote because she was bombed. Right? 2 weeks. Oh, I've been locked in my apartment for so long. I was so scared to go out. I'm gross. Okay, bye. You're welcome, my dog named Bo. Charlie told her Dan was shot between the eyes. That's a fair statement. She didn't go to the hospital to see Dan, did she? She didn't take her kids to Toronto, did she? Patty's Playhouse, hey, or Aristotle, I only realized today, the day Wendy canceled vacation with Jeff, was the same day she needed him to come quick and go out and get the meds. Was the same day as the first trip in June. Ditto. And you just said it better than I did. I did not know that until today. I don't think any of us knew that until today. It was just another little blip that Georgia waits until the time is right. We're all on George time. We're not on our time. Turquoise Kitten, what was your question? WhatsApp too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. My mom, she knows WhatsApp. It's all we kind of use. But she can't write an email? But she can do encryption. Okay, makes sense. Make it make sense. Hello, all. John Steinbeck is just so nice. He really is. He really is. And Carl is, I mean, I have not met Carl. Yes, I did. I met Carl at Charlie's trial at the very end. He was there for the deliberations. Very nice to me. Always will say so, too. You think she barfed when Charlie told her the parents both knew about the murder. That would do it too. How do you face your dad? How do you face your mom? Hey, Mom. Katie denied knowing that Lewis accompanied Sigfredo until much later. A bullshit story and in contradiction to Lewis's testimony. Oh, that's it. Thank you, Indy Nana. I think Wendy set Charlie and her mom up. She knew the location request was denied, but she didn't tell Donna. That's true. It's true. And Jackie Fulford did bring that out. I just don't think South Florida is all that. I love it that she was offered. How would that woman, Wendy Jill Adelson, be offered $1 million gig? To do what? Who was she? Who did she know? Like, if you're getting that much money from a law firm, you got to bring in clients. You got to bring in money because you're paying yourself, right? So I don't know if you guys know or whoever's an attorney on here. You start at the bottom in the law firm, just kind of you do it the stockbroker, right? You start at the bottom and you start bringing in clients. And then when they offer you a partnership, you got to invest your own money into the firm. So you got to bring in more clients and more clients and more clients. Who's paying that woman $1 million unless they're slushing money? That doesn't make any sense. How would she have had a client? She knew nobody. I mean, what, her Coca-Cola internship got her that? And then they pulled it. And she never mentions that, does she? She never mentions that her job offer that she didn't take was pulled because there was a murder and they only want clean hands. Jeffrey LaCasse was not wearing a wedding band. On either hand, I checked and zoomed in because I have nothing better to do. You didn't hear that part from Jeff? People are assuming Jeff LaCasse is married and has kids. They have absolutely no confirmation about it, which is why I don't do it. Sorry. I have no idea if he's married. I have no idea if he has kids. If he does, that's great. If he doesn't, that's great too. I just don't understand why it's a thing. You heard he's married now. How? Nobody here knows Jeffrey LaCasse. It just is so like, I refuse to like perpetuate a rumor. So I'm sorry for that, but I'm not. I wonder if the Geek Squad guy noticed packed boxes. And he's still alive too. I'm not perpetuating rumors. So if it's a rumor situation, I'm scrolling. Jenny says, I think we're getting ready for Wendy's trial with some of the questions George is asking. Oh, I live in Louisville, Kentucky. That's so awful. Sorry to hear that, Sarah says. About my grandfather. Yeah, there used to be silos. So, like, if you're driving towards the university, and I think the stadium is on the right when you're doing that. There were silos off to the left because I went back, Sarah, RN, and looked at the property records. That's how I figured it out where it was. And they didn't live too far from there, but that's where it happened. You were 3 when your mom died. No memories. Can't imagine. Can't imagine. So sorry. I think she didn't want the kids to remember her packing up and moving or telling how the TV really got broken. I wonder if they do remember. I mean, Allison Galvani remembers. I don't know how. I think you get a crown by posting more often. I know on YouTube you get points when I post on YouTube in Roberta's Glass True Crime Reports chat. You get a crown. I'm usually like number 3. You guys are outpacing me on the comments for sure. Can't mix pills and booze when she didn't throw up because there was something said. Hell, she knew everything as it happened. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. That's funny. Taking the artwork off the walls was an aha moment today for me too, especially as a mom, Indy Nana, as a mom with young kids, or my daughter who has young girls. Like, that is a thing, right? You don't do that unless you're moving. Why would you do that? You run out of space. But that was her wall. I mean, the whole wall was full of artwork for the kids. I mean, she had tons of, it was a cathedral ceiling. She had a ton of wall space there. I think Charlie made a vulgar comment about Dan's murder scene at the dinner table. Positive too. It could happily happen. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Auntie Deb. Thank you for that, Auntie Deb. I had no idea. Someone had to circle the photo. They're like, did you know that this person was there? No. So I screenshot it because they were not available to do it. And I sent the photo and they circled it. So I knew who that was. I didn't know. Mia. Courtroom seemed kind of sparse. Yeah, it wasn't a Wendy day. It was not a Wendy day. Why did the judge say sit down? To who? To Zellman? Because he kept objecting. So he told him to sit down. Did anyone ever hear that Charlie hired a hitman before Sigfredo? Yes, we did. We heard that in Katie's trial and then in Charlie's trial. He paid in advance and the hitman took the money and disappeared. We did hear that. That was not new information. How would Charlie know about the murder scene? He didn't know the hitman. Because the hitman talked to Katie and Katie talked to Charlie and Charlie talked to Mom and Mom knew the story. And that's what Robert said yesterday, was that they knocked on the window and said, are you Dan Markel? And he said, yes, but they said the front door was the window of the car. The only way Robert Adelson knew that could have possibly happened is if she knew it happened. So that, to me, is a smoking gun for this whole thing. How did Donna know, right? How did she know that happened unless she knew it happened? Patty, nice shirt today. Thank you. I got that sweater at Boscov's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I can't wait to go back. This going up in September. Hopefully I'll be down another size by then. I think something big was said that shocked Wendy and made her barf. I don't think I've ever been that upset that I immediately threw up. I don't think I've ever done that. He was telling Zellman to sit down to something he kept objecting to about Jeffrey LaCasse. That was the memory questioning, right? So, and then there was a discovery violation, which was unintentional because she thought she had deposed, or Rashbaum had deposed Jeffrey LaCasse on asking about a 4- and 6-year-old remember memories, and that didn't happen. But before that, the only thing they did today was throw objections. That was their strategy. Hi, Moonchild Pink. How are you doing? You're on another vacation? You have a heat wave in Southern California. We have a heat wave here. It was like 95 when I walked out of the courtroom today. You loved Everett telling him to sit down. Yeah, there was a flash of Judge Everett, right? Aw, thank you, M. Cash. She said she loves seeing me on court live tweeting. Great job, and thank you. Thank you. I find it odd that Katie didn't know how much money she got for the deal. She knew. She doesn't know how much money she got. Probably freaking embarrassed by it. Nothing new with Katie. A very weak cross. They're completely weak on this whole thing. I was not in the courtroom for that, but Everett got super mad at someone's phone. I was listening to Roberta at the time, and I heard him say, they're going to start confiscating phones. So I don't know why people keep doing it. I'm a rule follower. Mine is off. It's nearby me, but it is off. I'm just not going to. I know the bailiffs. I'm not going down in that courthouse because I'm not going to be that embarrassed. But people simply do not care. They just do not care. I can't even begin to tell you. I have to get my water. How little they care. That phone is out no matter what. It's just like, okay, be embarrassed. You get happy when Everett gets on the defense. Oh, that's why we love you, Patty. Thank you. Katie said nothing new. I just thought she was more confident in how she presented. Katie saying she didn't count the money is ridiculous. Why not admit it? She might have been scared. Like, I'm a little behind, Indigo J. I think I thought I heard it from witness earlier, and Charlie was talking in graphic detail about Dan being shot in the face. That is why Wendy threw up. Likely. I mean, it's a good guess. Wendy is not running. Wendy is not running anywhere. I don't know why people think that. She's not. They have to bring in the FBI bump guys soon. Yeah, that'll be like towards the end, though. That'll be towards the end. It's almost over, right? Wednesday's halfway. She said 4 to 6 days, likely 6. Friday was the first day. So I think they'll wrap up by Friday. I hope we hear new cell phone jail calls and what was on Donna's laptop tomorrow. That's why I'm going to courthouse. I hope so, too. Hi, Becky. Patty Cakes and Patty Melts are in the house. That's right. Wendy has never paid for anything. She really hasn't. She really hasn't. Nothing. Not her attorneys, not her divorce attorneys, the multiple divorce attorneys. Shannon Novy, the first one, ain't cheap. I mean, you're paying a $15,000 binder at least for a divorce. Financial disclosure will have absolutely enraged the Adelson 4 beyond comprehension. I did not see Jeffrey LaCasse almost fall off his chair, so I doubt that happened. But I didn't see it, and I was at the end, and I could see him very clearly. You don't think Charlie will testify? I don't think so now. I think we flew him down for nothing. But Wendy's new boyfriend's father is paying. He's a big money guy. No. Why would he pay? Why would Jorge Estrada's dad pay for this? You got the wrong dad. You got the wrong guy. It's not. She just met him. He's not paying for that. He's renting a house. He doesn't own the house. Jorge doesn't own this home. He's renting it in Austin. He just switched jobs again. He's not paying for it. Let me see. Thank you. You're the best. Golly gee, Marion. Thank you so much. You're the best. Love from County Clare. I'm hooked on this case. Felt sad for Rob yesterday. The Markel's so sad. I did too. And I haven't felt like, I thought like Rob was like me, you know, he's like, you do what you got to do. You got to do the right thing, which of course he did. He's a surgeon. He's going to be stoked. But I think he sat there befuddled and just in complete shock that his mother is on trial for murder of a guy that they all knew, that they knew well. Like he said, we knew him. We knew him really well. It was national news and no one wanted to talk about it. So I don't know. It's just, what do I say? He just looks shell-shocked, right? So you go to war. If you've ever met anybody who's gone to war, they come home, they start talking a few years later, and they're just reliving it. And to me, that's what he was doing. He was reliving it. His eyes showed that. Like he was reliving the conversation with his mother saying, yeah, they knocked on the door and said, are you Dan Markel? And that was that. He relived that on the stand. He wasn't talking about it like Mary Hull is talking about someone else's financials, right? He's reliving it. That's where it got me. Laurel has to be $1,000 an hour. That's what I expect. I think he used to be 900, 800, but he's raised it. Auntie Deb is in the gallery, and I had no idea. No idea at all. I don't think Wendy is the wealthy boyfriend anymore. I think she likes the Latin guys, and she likes security. How many times on the stand did Wendy talk about feeling safe? This guy probably doesn't travel. I guarantee you he works remotely. And he doesn't travel, and he's there, and he did what he had to do to get her. Just kind of sick when you think about it. But I think safety is more important to her right now. And he can't keep her safe because she's going to be arrested. I love Carl, but he won't stop bitching about the one-time trials. Oh, well, I mean, that's just the way it is. And I'm not an attorney, so I'm not bitching about it. Saw that Jimmy, Auntie Deb, he goes by Auntie Deb, was sitting behind Patty. Yeah, he was. I talked to him. I just didn't know who the hell he was. We were just chatting like people do. We were hooting it up. When Judge Everett was saying about June Umchinda getting lost in the courtroom again, we were yucking it up. Like, we were laughing. And he's like, I love Judge Everett. Every judge should be like Judge Everett. So we were having fun. I don't think Katie wants anyone to know how much money she grabbed and hid. Maybe she grabbed more. Maybe you're right. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Patty, have you seen the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Rob reminded me of Billy from that film, and Donna is Nurse Ratched. Yeah, I watched that years ago. It freaks me out, that movie. It really does. But yeah, I did see it, and I felt like he's reliving this. I mean, he's walking by his mother, never to see her again. He hasn't talked to her since 16. I love Carl too and his brother, keeping it alive. Yeah. Yes, I agree. Krinkov says, if you haven't been involved since Charlie, at least you might not get Donna being guilty. And I don't think you'll get it until the closing statements. That's when I think you'll understand. Hi, Emery, Patty. I'm not sure what that meant. All the trials have set up the next person, which is very unique. But it's also very unique to have all these trials over 11 years, right? It's very unique to have the family members still be alive, right? This is a long time. The Crystal Rogers case, also 10 years ago. It took forever to arrest Brooks Houck, Joseph Lawson, and Steve Lawson. We didn't even know about Steve Lawson and Joseph Lawson until recently. All of that was very, very fast. And they did it succinctly. Like, they didn't wait a year to do another trial. So let's hope it doesn't happen. Wendy's attorney is probably making $1,000 an hour while texting other people and not paying attention. He wasn't paying attention to which he might be able to listen and then text other people, but he was texting other people that had nothing to do with his client on the stand. Okay. Now, granted, he had 3 other pit bulls sitting there, absolutely sitting there watching, but he was doing other things. And his font was massive, which is why I know what he was doing. I was so surprised how much Donna was up in tally. She worked minimal hours, had childcare, and Dan had them every other week. And she was having trouble being a single mother. And show of hands, who believes this witch was breastfeeding, as selfish as she was, a 3.5-year-old child? Kid's writing on the walls. He's writing on the walls. Hey, baby, get up to the tip. Didn't happen. It was just easier because we were breastfeeding. We were breastfeeding? Who was we? There's no one else breastfeeding, Wendy. We are not breastfeeding. We is you, and you weren't breastfeeding because he was 3.5 and had his molars in. God, so sick. Woman is so sick. Her parents, she's such a spoiled bitch. Her parents drove up to Tallahassee 8 hours, rented a car, drive up, take her back home for 3 days, come back forth, because she was inept. Wendy is that inept, but she was going to make $1 million at a law firm in South Florida. Who is catching this? She's so inept she can't drive 8 hours. She needs a nanny full time because she's breastfeeding. How is she going on all these trips? How is she going on all the trips with all the boyfriends? She's getting her ass smacked by Miguel or some other fitness dude. She's getting her ass beat the shit up while cheating on Jeffrey LaCasse. But she's breastfeeding? Come on. She's not doing that. There will be a universal cheer when Wendy is arrested. Can you imagine walking into Tallahassee knowing that entire town, except for 5 or 6 liberal professors in social work, hate your guts? Why did she not get the $1 million job? Because the murder, and the law firm rescinded the offer because they wanted to make sure that she was clear of murder charges, and she's never been clear. So they withdrew it. Wendy is playing out her time scratching up judges. She's banking on Everett retiring. He's too young to retire, but that's a good point. By the time she gets slapped with cuffs, I will even concede for Wendy Adelson that they relocate, they give her a change of venue. Give the woman a change of venue and she will still be convicted, hands down. There's not even a question. Not after the last 2 days. Katie not knowing exactly how much she got immediately after the deed was done is believable because she was always getting money. True. I mean, that is true. Any gift was a chip-in deal. I am so sick of Jackie Fulford. I like to call them Zelford. Slow, cross, and unorganized. What else is she going to do? They have no strategy. I mean, this makes me think the double extortion thing was absolutely genius. Failure, but a genius move. They don't even have that. They have binders. Can you see this bottle of water? Like half the size of this bottle of water that they keep moving back and forth across the table, and they're not doing anything with it. The average question they're asking the witness is like 5. And that's after Jackie Fulford says, you don't know me. You've never spoken to me. Blah, blah, blah. We deposed you. I just have a couple of questions. Blah, blah, blah. Same shit every witness. It's absolutely hilarious. If you rewatch Rob's testimony, it still hits hard. Debbie loves Corbitt. So do I. He's so smart and so well prepped and knows how to talk to the jury, look over at the jury. He's very well prepped. And Corbitt is Sergeant Chris Corbett, TPD, who handles the phones and the WhatsApp and all the messages and the downloading all the phone data. I think Wendy saw her forever cage looming on the horizon today. I can't wait. I think she did too. I think she was completely different on the stand. Her cocky ass, whiny mouth ended. She had none of that for George Kappelman. She didn't even snap back. Like I might have snapped more than she would have. She didn't even snap back. She didn't snap. She lied. She was bold-faced caught lying. And here's, let me use my phone. And here's John Lauro, $1,000 an hour. Let me check out the Amazon or whatever the hell he was doing. I mean, he wasn't even paying attention. His client is lying. Do you recall? I don't think I said that, but you might say, tab 4. Come on. Jeffrey spoke to Wendy 10 days after the murder for the last time. Celebration throw-up dinner had already occurred. In your opinion, it's about the green Prius. The Prius on the news, July 23rd, 2014. Dinner not a month later. True crime wifey, great tip. I'm going through them, scrolling other people's comment. And nobody really was talked about. Wendy has an emotional alcohol-drenched pill popping. They knew those boys were in need when Danny, I mean, nobody has mentioned that yet. You've come up with a couple good things. Nobody really talked about Wendy, who was an emotional alcohol-drenched pill popper who couldn't really she didn't like her job. She didn't want to go to work. When Dan Markel and she were in Washington, D.C., life was grand. She was a stay-at-home wife. She thought life was absolutely grand. He was there. She was in D.C. She could hobnob, go to a cocktail party. And here she ends up in crunchy Tallahassee, where the big news is a Whole Foods. And I mean that. With all due respect, it's crunchy here. Real, real crunchy. Jackie is very unlikable. When Wendy is arrested, they'll be swinging, swaying, and records playing and dancing in the street. Thanks, John. Hi, John. I'm so glad. I'm still in the middle of the line. Oh, because Adelson mess has been distracted. She's reading a book. Let me go through. Why would Donna use her maiden name to hide all of it? I was shocked by that. I don't know why. I don't know why anything this woman does shocks me. But she had that home rented on Cameron Chase for a good bit. Cameron Chase is the neighborhood. Before Return of the Jedi, gotta watch Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. Thanks, Mia. At least that's a good series. Not like the Jaws or something. She said a month Charlie's trial and now a few weeks this trial for dinner. There's too much evidence. Patty, do you think Harvey will get arrested? No, says Cindy Page. I do not believe Harvey Adelson will ever be arrested. And I heard Roberta Glass say it after the live today, that she said Harvey's punishment is he will die without a family. There's just not enough. There's just not enough to get him. We still have to hear from Scott Radius. Yeah. And Pat Sanford. And then I realized today, the reason why we haven't heard from FBI agent Pat Sanford, who met Donna Adelson and Harvey Adelson at the Jetway in Miami on their way to Vietnam to their cottage that they didn't even completely pay for, and now Scott Radius owns it, is because Pat Sanford was there. So he typically, the last trial, Pat Sanford was on right before Wendy. In this case, he'll wait, and it'll be more about the arrest and the knowledge about trying to flee. Connecting Charlie is connecting Donna because there was no reason for him to kill Dan. All the evidence ties the two. He didn't have a relationship with Dan. He didn't like him. For what he knew, he didn't spend time with the guy. But I believe Dan knew that Dan was a better man than Charlie Adelson. I mean, if you were seeing your brother-in-law showing up with all these real young Asian girls and you're an old guy, you're not gonna. I wouldn't like him either. You can still find footage of the yellow tape up in the scene from the news media. Georgia just has to show it. I found it on YouTube, says Jennifer Ray. And it says, crime scene tape, do not cross. It doesn't say tree down, roadblock, workers in the area. Such a crap lady. Great picture being painted. Pick her up. She's coming to realize her house of cards has fallen. She was a completely different woman on the stand. Go watch Jackie St. Germain's little video. Go watch it. Wendy's lawyer said, course, you're innocent. For $1 million, she'll even say it in court. Wendy's the only person I've ever heard hyperventilate, cry, and doesn't have sups during the pauses. I don't know what that means, Indiana. I'm sorry. So if you guys don't know, I read the chat. I'm reading the chat, but I'm not reading it prior to showing it or sharing it. Hi to everyone here. So good to see you guys. Sorry, my feed is moving really fast. Thanks, Mia. Well, I'm behind the feed. So I'm Patty Wilson, and this is Patty's Playhouse, and I interact with the chat, like the AOL chat rooms from long ago. But I am behind on the chat, I believe. You think Katie is still protecting Wendy because of the kids. Good take, Barbara. It's not going to help her, but that's a good take. Wendy said they asked for the boys' DNA. I've never heard her say that. I think they always do that, just in case. Just in case. So Harvey wrote a prescription for Wendy, high-dose Lexapro, And Wendy stops at cold turkey and is acting like a freak. Jane, oh, Jane, got anything to say? He shouldn't have been. He doesn't have a license anymore, but you shouldn't be writing prescriptions for your kids, right? Wendy is wearing a headpiece. She is not. That's her hair. She has a lot of very thin curly hair. It's not a headpiece. It's just poorly flattened. Piss poor job of flat iron. I can't use a flat iron because my hair looks like a wreck, but that's what it is. Honey cut. Wendy needs to check her hair for birds nesting. It was bad. Again, the world is on you. Your job is to tell a story. You're Wendy Adelson. You're telling a story. And you show up like you just woke up out of the back of a Volvo. I mean, she looked like she'd just gotten laid or something. Her hair was so bad. I have no idea if Jeffrey LaCasse is married. I have no idea. We're not. His home is like a mile from my office, and I never go down that street. And I think the man has deserved his privacy. Lawyer says Wendy will get arrested because financial records show Wendy had funds to buy a house, and she lied on the stand saying not enough. That's the clincher. She lied about a lot of things yesterday. She lied about saying that she removed her name from the title. I showed that last night. She hasn't removed her name from any title. That house was sold with probate. She was a guardian. There was no quit claim deed that would have removed her name. Dan never applied for a refinance because there was a loan on the home when they bought the house, and then they refinanced for a lower rate is what my guess is, because I read the mortgage paperwork. And so she was on the mortgage and the note, the promissory note, when she divorced him. When you divorce in the state of Florida and there's a mortgage and the person gaining the house, Dan was gaining the house, but he would have had to refinance to remove her name. So he would have had to refinance in his own name and remove her name. And my guess is, and it is a pure guess, it's conjecture, is that he didn't do it because he wasn't paying her. And she wouldn't have signed the refinance papers because she wanted money. And he's like, no, you lied on the affidavit. So before he was ever going to refinance the property to get her name off of it, he was killed. But you can't get the name off. You can't say, hey, Bank of America, I'm just making the lender up. Hey, Bank of America, I'm divorced. Here's my divorce papers. Take my name off. It doesn't work that way. People think it works that way. I sell houses. It never works that way. The person who is gaining a home must refinance. If they're not capable of refinancing, they could actually, in the end, be held in contempt of court, but that's really rare. Because judges know, like after divorce, most often you're not an Adelson, your credit is shit. You think Wendy's going to be arrested right away. Vinny Politan, boy, hasn't he changed his tune? On STS and Joel say, Wendy is next and soon. I think so too. I mean, I think that's why Georgia Kappelman, who's the lead state attorney, made her go through that. You said that you believe anyone who's responsible for this murder should be arrested and tried and convicted, however that end went. Yes. Yes, I do. Anybody who, and she was shaking her head, anybody who is responsible for Danny's murder should be, she made her go through it. Joel said they have already made up their mind. Interesting. I'm not talking about the physical nature of any jurors, if you don't mind. We were asked not to, and I'm not going to. So we were told, you know, if you're reporting, you could talk about the gender and you could talk about their job. And that is it. I'm not going to talk about any other physical comment about the juror. Wendy couldn't help driving by the crime scene. Back to basics. And she couldn't help telling Jeff about the hitman before it took place. I mean, can I tell you something in confidence? If you ever say to me, hey, I was thinking about hiring a hitman, or my brother was thinking, that's the last conversation we're ever having. That's my only problem with Jeffrey LaCasse. Why would you stay with her after you had that conversation? Is that pussy that great that you had to stay there after that? Nah, come on. You're a doctor, like a PhD doctor, but still a doctor. Why would you stay there after that? You mention a hitman to me in any conversation, the conversation's over. It won't be over like right then because I'll be scared to walk to my car. Once I walk to my car, the conversation's over. Wendy. I still don't understand why he stayed with her. Who goes to a yoga date anyway? You're going to watch me on YouTube on TV. Well, thank you very much. What time is it? Hour and 15. Okay. The jury is already on it. Donna guilty. Next, please. Donna is toast. That was sad. The look she gave Rob versus the look she gave Angel Wendy. Same what look wasn't done when Wendy left, was she? She looked defeated. The defense is trying to protect Wendy. Everybody's trying to defend her. Why did Donna drag this to trial? Because these Adelsons are insane and they think they're above everything. Robert loved and loves his family who derided him as Honest Abe. Charlie's trial was the first one you watched, but you really do. I mean, you just learn so much when you watch more than one. Robert never speaking to Donna again is like a banging gong of guilt. Great comment, Lolly. Now, all of us who have seen the prior trials are just addicted to the justice. Yep. Hi, D, love of God. How are you? Playing catch up. Wendy looks tired. Wendy's makeup was shit. Somebody was talking on Twitter about her matte lipstick and her eyes look matte. No. Wendy's makeup looked horrid. Look, girl, if you're going to contour your lip, especially your bottom lip to make it look bigger, you got to blend it a little better. You got to like bring it up a little, toss it. I really do hope they play the jail tape between Charlie and Donna. I believe they will. I mean, they have to. They said they were going to in the opening. Why she felt the need to say she was told in the cop car is baffling. That's my point. Liars make up stuff that there's just no reason to do. Why would you do it? And then your attorney's sitting there over there going, playing Candy Crush. What is going on? All that money. Come on. Is this presence? Oh, she's not saying anything. She's pleading the fifth. Meanwhile, Wendy was too tired to do the back of her hair. What do you think of Wendy's hug? I did not see it at the time, so I don't know. I didn't see Wendy try to hug Harvey. I'm sorry. Jackie is at least earning her bucks. No, she's not. How's she earning it? Girl, she must have some cash. Jackie Fulford must have some cash stashed away. You saw the back of her. That was a great photo, wasn't it? That screenshot's a great photo. The back of Wendy's hair. It's like if I were a salon, that would be my stock photo of why you should go to a professional instead of doing your own hair before you go to trial. And then you have June Umchinda, whose hair was just, that line, that part was just perfect. They always say you can indict a ham sandwich, but they haven't indicted Wendy yet. I can't speak for them. I just know that they should. Justice Jane says Jeffrey LaCasse dated Wendy the fall of 13, was his girlfriend March 14, and their relationship ended July 14. That's short, but he was in love, wasn't he? Dude was in love. Patty, I think Daddy is paying Laura for Wendy. It has to be someone with more money than Jorge Estrada. And she's had John Lauro forever. I mean, just being up there. So she got there, what? Noon, just say noon on Friday or 2 o'clock on Friday. There's 3 hours. That's 3,000. And then a couple hours on Monday, and just all the prep time he has. That's a $10,000 visit to Tallahassee. Judge Judy says, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory, because praise the Lord, mine does not the best. I wish Katie would tell the truth. Reckon she'd been paid by Wendy, and that's why not. If the money stops or Wendy's trial when we get the full truth, well, if Wendy's that damn dumb, then she deserves more than getting arrested. Robert did tell the truth. Patty, hello, says Jab. Interesting day in court. It was. Now, I didn't want to sit there for it, so I left, but yeah, it was. The defense isn't making any points in cross-examination. That's what I was telling John Steinbeck, and I always take it from a salesperson's point of view. Jackie Fulford or Zellman is a salesperson, and they need to sell their client's story to the jury. When have they done that? When has that happened? Shuffling binders around and going up and saying the same thing to every witness and just conceding, basically, because that's what it is. No further questions. It's concession. Tell your story. You mean to tell me you are that bad of an attorney, both of you, even with the DUI attorney, that you can't get June Umchinda to contradict herself and twist her words? Come on. I was like, that is just ineptitude. Show any mock trial attorney go up there who's, I know life is not Legally Blonde, but come on. When you're making Dan Rashbaum look good, that's a problem. They're not even trying. Then you compare it to Chris DeCoste. Chris DeCoste he's above John Lauro. Like, he's way up here. Chris DeCoste was a fabulous defense attorney. He still lost, but he was fabulous. He went at Wendy. Jeffrey LaCasse was, and I said DeCoste as the other attorney, was believable and confident. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I know, but he was very confident on the stand. Very confident. He goes, I guess he looked guilty when you think about it. Points for Ryan for Fitzpatrick. Harvey has no animosity for Wendy. They dragged Wendy away from Harvey after she kissed him on the cheek and told her not to do that. Why would they tell her that? It's her dad. Katie is garbage. The defense is checked out. They just have nothing to work with. But still, this is your moment. These people, these losers got off Casey Anthony. You could at least try to work your client. You're supposed to be 2018 AAVO litigator. What? 7 years ago. Update your website, Zellman. June's necklace was $33.50. It wasn't. It was a Kendra Scott. Where do you see that? Send me the link so I can see it. I thought it was a Kendra Scott. $33.50. That must have been a gift from Charlie, don't you think? Rayanne says she knows the case better than Jackie. Jackie Fulford is just, first of all, for all of you who are new, Jackie Fulford is only 60 years old because I looked it up. She drives a Hummer, so it must have a really long, running board that comes out of that vehicle for her to get in because she's short. She goes up to my boob. Those binders are embarrassing. The fact that they weren't ready for Mary Hull was embarrassing. The only good thing they're doing is hearsay objections. That's it. Every hearsay objection, and they're winning points there, but not the war, right? You're winning points with the judge. You're getting little minuscule stories out of the witness's mouth, but you're not going to win the war. Ryan didn't add anything. I thought he did. Especially if you don't know the story. So if you don't know the story and the jurors aren't supposed to know the story for the most part, then he added something. You can totally see why Ryan and Charlie were friends. Oh, Harvey is not next. Sorry, kid. Sorry, kid. Nope. Harvey is not being arrested. He's not even on their radar. Too many lawyers go on a podcast talking about how she won't get arrested. Well, they're not following the case. So she's going to be arrested. I have a feeling that the defense has some asinine wild card that they think they're going to pull on everyone like Rashbaum with a double extortion. I feel like they have a sneaky trick up their sleeve. I don't. I would have said that 2 months ago, but not now. Well, the only thing, Mike Skidmore, you are correct, but not the lead. She's the second. Zellman is the lead. But other than that, you are correct. They're very unprepared, says Lakeside Lawyer. It's embarrassing. You're on national TV. You've had a year, and you can't do it. We all know the case better than they do. Well, you don't know me, but I asked you a couple questions that have nothing to do with the cause at hand and refuting what Georgia Kappelman just did to her witness by like making her crawl under her skin. But yeah, we're good. We thought 2 lawyers would be better, but neither. That's why I think Donna not going to testify. They said, I do not believe now she will testify. I will be shocked if she testifies. If the look on her face, she won't be able to keep her shit together to testify. She won't do it. Donna has already hired an appeals lawyer. This is accurate. And Charlie's appellate attorney, Laurel, was in this. It was in the courtroom. She wasn't in there today. I didn't see her, but she was in the courtroom. Katie looks amazing after 9 freaking years in prison. No appeal if Donna gets on the stand. I agree with Patty on that point. I mean, you can go for an appeal. Charlie's going for an appeal. You're just going to lose. I listen to other attorneys. I'm not one. But that is absolutely the fact. Once you sit there and crisscross applesauce yourself on the stand and you're found guilty, then no one's believing you because that's perjury. What I was told in Florida, it's really hard. The only thing you can do is ineffective counsel. The way that Jeff talks about Wendy, she must have had a foo-foo. See, I don't read these in advance. A foo-foo like the Mariana Trench. I think I'm catching up to where I said pussy out loud. So why could they not make a decision and get on the cross every time? I don't know, John. I do not know. Katie looks too good. No stress life inside is figured out for her. I want to know, is Tara Kawas coming on the stand? Tara Kawas would be, woo-hoo. I don't think Donna cares anymore as long as Wendy and her grandchildren are protected. That's not happening, so. Katie is a Rhodes Scholar compared to June. Katie graduated from UCF. Jojo says, local from South Florida, so you've been waiting for this for years and deal with people just like them daily. Good for you. Both Charlie's exes look good. You are the first admin and the first member. Thank you, Tennis. That's very cool. It's hard to work with this going on. Amory is malingering at her job. She's having a hard time working. Ooh, Professor Joe is solo on STS. I'll have to go look at that. She's so nice. She's so nice. Carl takes up half the screen. I was watching that. I kind of liked the look of it, though. He was funny talking. One of his commenters, one of his subscribers was talking about If Katie hadn't been arrested, she would have ended up in the sea. And I thought that was a good point. You watch on the Democrat. Thank Krinkoff. They'll like that. They'll appreciate that. Lawyer Lee is the only way to go. I catch up with all the others after. Thanks, Jab. Grish has a video. Wendy Television 8 explains Wendy's maneuvers, how she's working to evade prison. I don't know who Grish is. I'd have to look him up. None of these people talked to Donna. They all knew Wendy. Hey, Olivia, how are you? Sorry, I'm behind. I'm scrolling through. John is a true gentleman. Wendy has knowledge. Wendy has to acknowledge Harvey's paying the bill. I mean, she was talking to him out in the courthouse hallway. Harvey went to them. They were hiding out at the end of the hallway right outside the courthouse. Harvey walked to them. So you watched live, but had storms. Hope it's all clear now. Lester Green may testify. I don't know who Lester Green is. I was trying to tell you Aunt Deb was sitting behind you at the courthouse. His name is Jimmy, and he's hilarious. And I'm so sorry. I was looking for a woman. So I am not inclusive that way. That was a woman. She has a black magic foof. Patricia Burns has a way with words, if you don't know. Hi, my father's alibi. How are you? I watch while working and get real mad when someone calls me and interrupts me. Poor Simon. Oh, I have complete bias, dear. Laura Lee is the best. She has no bias. I have 1,000% bias. My bias is huge. How about Donna? Well, she's not allowed to approach Donna, so that's why she would have blown her off. She's not allowed to approach her. Can't follow the defense. They just go in circles. It's true. If you watch it, I mean, to make Dan Rashbaum look good is a feat. I think I saw you in the feed yesterday in a beautiful green top. Yes, I did wear, I think, yeah. I forget the day I wore green now, but yeah. I green on. Today I wore black and white. No. Yesterday I had blue on with my white jean jacket. I had green on Friday. I haven't watched today's trial yet. You're going to watch it at Emily D. Baker, okay? You thought gibberish was for gibberish. So did I. I never would have known about a book called Jew in Boots. It was in Hebrew. Hey, Patriotic, how are you? I can't believe Katie would set up a murder and not know how much it paid. And then when she does get paid, she doesn't count the money. Maybe she can't count. You can't wait to see the maestro. I'm sure prison isn't agreeing with him. His hair looks good. His new mugshot, I thought his hair looked good. Looks better than bald. Jib stands for Jew in Boots. Came from Puss in Boots. Georgia asked that of his nickname origin. She brought that up for a reason. There is clearly a reason Georgia had that little snippet that we just don't know the why yet. You looked up the book last night, and the main character is basically a narcissistic cat. I'll send you what I found. Thanks, Little Biddle. Yeah, we all agree Wendy needs to be charged. Your hairstylist sucks balls, and your commentary is pretty lame. Nothing new you're adding aside from typical message board chat crap. Thank you. That's nice. Wendy, my hairstylist. I am my hairstylist. I am my hairstylist, Tom. Wendy, the femme fatale, legend in her own mind. Bats are fake blue contacts and thinks men will slay for her. You love the chat. Thank you. And I am my own stylist, and my own makeup, and my own words. We don't know when she's going to be arrested, but soon. You didn't like the red dress? I love that red dress. It had a tight neck collar. I loved it. She looked fabulous. I think Donna's strategy is to protect Wendy at all costs. I don't think so anymore. I don't think so anymore. Don't worry, guys. Wendy will be charged right after Donna is convicted, says Yura. Being late must be the back. Sorry. That's funny. Did I hear big news about Sarah Catherine? No. I don't know anything about Sarah Catherine's life. What happened that made Jackie turn around during cross of Katie? What was everyone looking at? I wasn't in the courtroom, so I can't say. If somebody else can say, let me know. Wendy definitely lives with a lot of stress unless she looks like she doesn't. Because she doesn't really look like she's a lot of stress. Maybe after this trial, she looks it. Don't hold back, Patty. I don't hold back. But if you're coming in here as like, all these apologists for other podcasters who I don't speak to or about or care, or Wendy Adelson or any of the Adelsons, I just block you. I didn't used to, but now life's too short. Hi, Anya. How are you? You appreciate my candor, says Jab. True. Nobody with money should have had bad hair. No. June should ditch the luggage. It was probably her carry-on. She was flying. So she flew up here. So I'm sure there was a lot more in there than a typical bag. Wendy's bodyguard is mean. Not to Wendy. They were holding hands. June was late filming Housewives of Tallahassee. That would be funny. Hey, Mr. C, how are you? I'm scrolling down. I got to go soon. June still loves Charlie. I think she loves the idea of Charlie, but I know she mentioned now he's a murderer. June is in Boca. I think she's in Fort Lauderdale. Clarissa at least did the right thing about Katie never worked there in any capacity. She's been consistent. She was a consistent employee. Who was in purple? Francis. Who was Purdy in purple? I'm just joining now, says Red and Right, but I believe that Charlie relayed a detail of the actual killing, something gruesome told him by Katie from Sigfredo, and she vomited. Cece loves my tape, even though I have shitty hair. Thank you. I'm wondering the following. If Wendy soon gets indicted and Charlie wins his appeal and gets a new trial, is it possible or likely that Charlie and Wendy would be tried together? No. Never, ever, 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 ever will that happen. It's a great story, but it's never going to happen. And he's not going to win his appeal. So give me an idea of what a house cost in Tallahassee in 2014. She took half their account when she left them, and $300,000 she could have paid cash for a house, right? No. The house that she was buying on Whittendale was $300,000. And the house, they took a loss on the Truscott house. They took a loss on it because there was murder in the garage. So, yeah, about 300 now. That house now on the Whittendale is probably $595, almost 600 for sure. It's a tie thing. Rob clearly said that there was not a surprise party for Harvey's birthday, which is now July 5th. So Donna, Charlie, Wendy all lied about that. Makes no sense. They had to keep the story up. They had the text message. You agree, 789. Maya agrees with me. Absolutely. The children's artwork does not come down off that cathedral wall unless you're moving. It just doesn't. She had it way high up so she could add it to the wall. And remember, even Dan, when the family talks about the house, if you ever listen to the Ruth Markel's book, Unthinkable, or The Unveiled, it's The Unveiled, that when she walked into Dan's house, he had the children's artwork strung across the house. It was on a string. You think Wendy purposefully destroyed the TV? Yes. Yes, that's true. And she cleaned out the boys' clothes and donated them to the friend with the smaller kids in the middle of the week, all while saying she had laryngitis. Oh, Sarah Dugan applied for a judicial vacancy in Florida's Big Bend. Good for her. Good for her. I didn't know. You actually think Wendy wants Donna to be convicted because at that point, if she gets off and becomes free, Wendy's life will be hell. That is true. If Donna is, Wendy's life will be pure hell if Donna is not convicted. No, she took $400,000 in assets. I don't think it was just money, but at least that's the word I heard was assets. She took $400,000 of money that Dan said wasn't hers, but she didn't have money to buy the house. They have $1 million for a bribe, but she can't afford a house. And then, I mean, she had that money. That was easy money for her. 19 applied for 2 judicial vacancies in Florida's Big Bend, including the Adelson prosecutor. Good for Sarah Catherine. You watched it with Carl. Good for you. The Adelsons will not turn each other unless your name is Robert. Robert's already done it. Charlie will not throw anybody under the bus. He can't. He can't. His story would change. And he's already going to lose his appeal, but his story will change. Patty, I feel like this particular trial is the ghost of Christmas past for Donna, Wendy, and Harvey. Charlie, too, if his clown ass shows up. Lady Justice not slapping them, but full roundness. I think Georgia has been saving a lot of information to get Wendy. I do, too. We've learned so much new information in this trial. Even like the dating sites, if you remember from Charlie. And she has said, you realize that we have your phone download, right? And Wendy says, yes. Why continue the lie? Just say, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. It was on 4 dating sites. Why continue the lie? The psychopathy is unbelievable. I have no time for those people. I mean, they're entitled to their opinion. I just don't want to hang out with them if they believe Wendy's Donna's innocent. They just don't know anything about the trial. I mean, it's not a political thing like Karen Reed got. You just know nothing. Or you just want to be an innocent person, and I have no time for that either. Justice for All says, doesn't make any difference to Fulford if there's a conviction. She's already got her money and already lost half of her job. So there is that. Chess pieces. Great way to put it. It feels like there's a mic drop moment is coming up first thing tomorrow with the current witness, the email guy. That's Chris Corbett. The way Sarah said, let's end it there. Puzzle Pizzas was much better. Roberta has such a sultry voice. I like her too. She does. I love her voice. We all know how Charlie really feels about Asian women after that story about his petty vengeance to his date who was scuttled hard, and he used KB to criminal for him. He's a predator. He is. I mean, if I were Dan, I wouldn't have liked him either. You cannot wait to hear from Scott Radius. Neither can I. I hope the condo is beautiful. In Georgia, we trust. It's all in Georgia time. I think Georgia said Wendy vomited because Charlie told her police released the Prius video to the media. That would do it. Yes, I did not see Donna turn to look at Harvey during my time in the courtroom, nor after when I was watching. I just hope Bump Guy's tomorrow. I'll be back in the skies after that. Please, Bump Guy. The Bump Guy is the undercover FBI officer. True Crime Wifey. Thank you. Jeff spoke to Wendy 10 days after the murder for the last time. The celebration throw-up dinner. Thank you, True Crime Wifey. Thank you. Becky's been a member for 10 months. Thank you. Oh, Wesley, thank you. Late for a vet. Good to see you. Thanks, Wes. Let me scroll down and get somebody that I haven't seen. Olivia, Wendy was playing everyone, even the email saying she was okay with staying there. She was setting see. I believe that. That email was not true. Nobody was paying her $1 million to work at a law firm. Wendy plants the seeds. Wendy got the alibi. Wendy broke the TV. Wendy set up Jeffrey. Wendy got Dan's schedule. Wendy made sure that no one else was at the house. Wendy was on the street and Lewis saw her. It was overheard in the car park that Wendy's lawyer told her how bad she did on the stand in Charlie's case, that she was awful. I hope so. She was awful this time, too. Wendy will be arrested by the end of September or never. I want to know if Garcia and Rivera were told to get a silver car similar to Jeff's. Rivera never said that. And I don't think Katie was asked, was she? Aw, thanks, Piper. She loves Patty. Thank you. It was good to hear Rob testify that Donna told him that Dan was shot when he answered a knock on the door and someone shot him at the door. Very strange she told him that. She can't stop talking. Watching this trial, I've already polished off a whole bottle of very odd. I heard someone heard Wendy at Charlie's trial say, "When do I say I knew about the bribe?" Interesting, Anne-Marie. The invitation copy was emailed to state attorney, but can't use as evidence due to being digital. It could be altered. I remember that, Norma. Didn't she say she hadn't eaten for a month? Yep. And if they were celebrating anything that Charlie was celebrating, that Wendy could eat for the first time in a month outside. She was like, "It's the first time I left my apartment. Her $1 million apartment." Someone's saying that Sigfredo may be testifying tomorrow. I don't think he's been transported. I have Sigfredo on Vine. I don't believe he's been transported. I didn't see an order to transport him. She didn't take the boys to say goodbye to their father. That will plague those boys. I know. He's now in court. No one knew about Jeff and canceling the trip. I want to know why Siggy and Lewis knew when Dan and Jeff were going out of town and what cars to rent. She changed the Stevie story to vertical lines, and there weren't vertical lines. I know. Donna, that's a good one. She went to the memorial service. Dreamweaver's asking, is it true Wendy didn't go to Danny's funeral? She went to the memorial service here in town, here in Tallahassee, but did not go to Toronto to the funeral. Oh, that was nice, Penny Packer. John Steinbeck mentioned he saw me. That's nice. I just do not believe this. So unless there's an order to move Sigfredo, which I don't see an order in the docket, he's not testifying. But I just didn't see it. I thought Katie was the one who told Lewis and Sigfredo to take the owl down. Yes, she is. Aristotle says, Wendy barfed when Charlie said it was two guys and the driver was Aladdin King. I do believe Katie still knows more than she's saying, and we don't know why she won't speak. Why would these people know this? Like other podcasters? I don't know. I just don't know if I'm buying that. Especially because it came from that person. Wendy did not go to Toronto for Dan's funeral. She did not. Hi, my father's alibi. Why she told Rob not to mention Jeff to her parents is another intrigue, especially when he'd already met the parents. Fredo has no brain cells left to testify. Have I seen Julie from Court TV? Would love to see you interviewed by her. Well, thank you, MCAS, but I really don't ever believe that will happen. I don't see Court TV with it. I'm not big enough for that. I'm big enough for me, but I'm not big enough for Court TV. $1 million gig, but she can't be trusted to drive 7 hours alone. Doesn't make any sense. Plus, it doesn't make any sense. Yep, that's the tie-in from before. Katie knew Lewis was with Sigfredo because she called about Lewis posting the photo on Instagram of the owl. And of course, when Wendy was brought into the police station, she had a t-shirt on of an owl. You're working on gathering materials to discuss about Robert. Yes, please, if you're up late, you want to tune in to my father's alibi, please. Wendy, did you call Wendy's support Homo sapien or honeyhead? I did not. But it's brilliant. I did not call her Homo sapien, but that is a brilliant comment, honeyhead. He's still trying for an appeal. I wonder what he would say. Susan also said Sig is very scary. She heard that at the courthouse. I don't have time right now to look at the docket, but if anyone wants to look at the docket and see if Sigfredo was transported, that would be great. When was the last time he was moved? I get his movements. Hold on. The last time he got moved, he's in, I mean, they could have moved him from, no, he's in Liberty. So Sigfredo Garcia was transferred from Franklin Correctional, which is where my son worked, to Liberty Correctional. So he could be there. They could just drive him up in the morning. So he's at Liberty, and he was there on 6/12. So he's been at Liberty Correctional, which is only about an hour away, since June 12th. So they could bring him in the morning. I thought he was further away. Please press like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Babs, I love your honest commentary. Thank you. I know I'm not for everyone. I really do. But I do appreciate it. Positive. And I even sometimes appreciate the negative comments because it kind of pulls me in and grounds me, right? Excellent live. Donna, Wendy, and Harvey are all cooked. Lillian, yeah, I think so. I mean, Harvey's cooked just because he's going to live alone with all his money in a condo, and hopefully he'll just, I have nothing nice to say. Wesley's going back to knitting and watching bad TV. Well, bye, Wesley. I'm going to hang up. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Dr. G has a new analysis on Wendy and Robert. Cool beans. Well, I'm going to the courthouse tomorrow, but it'll be about 10:30. I thank you all for being the new people who are like, my number's up to like 860, which is kind of overwhelming when I think about it. So I try not to think about it. But welcome to everybody. Again, my name's Patty Wilson. I'm in Tallahassee. And if you have any questions about the trial, I keep my contact information in the show notes. And I just really appreciate you. Wait. These courtroom benches look painful. Are you allowed to take a cushion? Thank you, Mark. Very nice of you. I cannot wait for this Hallmark movie. Love you, Patty. Thank you, Mark. Becky Island for Patty, Chris, and Susan Hicks. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Really sweet to me, and I appreciate you all. Have a great evening. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.